Today on the show, I'm happy to have Jeremy Parker. He's the co-founder of Swag and the founder of Swagspace. They're a universal swag platform. So, Jeremy, what kind of revenues was Swag doing at the peak?
Swag.com is still obviously growing. We're doing now over $40 million a year in sales. But when we got acquired, we were doing a little bit north of $30 million. So I was the CEO of Swag.com from founding it with my co-founder Josh in 2016 up until last December. So just a few months ago.
How many employees did it end up scaling to?
We have over 100 employees at Swag.com. Obviously, Swag Space is a new division. We'll get to that, but that's a much smaller division underneath the parent company of Custom Ink. And we're like a shared services. That's how we think of it. Like we're a lot of the things and the team members that are doing all the Swag Space work are Custom Ink employees and Swag.com employees and also Swag Space employees. So it's a lot ability to scale really quickly because of all those shared services.
So, how many years did it take you to scale Swag to that level?
Yeah, we started in January of 2016. When you're in it and when you're starting a business and you're building a business, it feels like a long time. But looking back, it was fairly quick from the point of starting to the point of exiting. So it was about 6 years. Our first year of business, we were traditional swag sellers, knocking on doors, phone calls to close sales, literally showing up at offices and making sales. And we did about $350,000 in sales the first year. A very manual, very fragmented experience. We then started to build our e-commerce experience based on our learnings. And we launched our first e-commerce experience in 2017. And we did about 1.1 million. And then we scaled to 3 million, to 7 million, to 15 million, to 30 million. So every year we were growing over 100% up until we got acquired.
So, a couple of things I definitely want to dig into with you today is first of all, how did you scale it so quickly? And then
Mhm.
also the experience of being acquired.
Yeah, scaling so quickly, it's a lot of learning. And I would say I'm 38 now. I've had a lot of different startup experience in the past. Some were good and some were not so good. But it's a cliche thing to say, but you do learn a lot from your failures. You learn actually more from your failures. So I'll take you back to how we got to swag.com and why I think it made sense and it worked. So right before swag.com, I was launching a social networking app called Vouch. And Vouch, I think, is still an amazing idea, is a great idea. We just didn't execute it properly. But high level of Vouch is it's you vouch for your favorite things. So what we saw is Facebook, this big platform of Facebook, and all these different people took one aspect of Facebook and made it better, dedicated experience around it. So Instagram took the pictures and Twitter took the status update and Snapchat took the poke and all these different people took these little aspects. And we thought, what if we could build the platform around the like button? Because the like button at Facebook is really, truly where they make all their money. It's where all their advertising dollars come from people knowing what people like. But the like button isn't cool. So we thought, what if we could build a platform around what you vouch for? And you could follow your friends and see what movies they recommend, what restaurants, you could follow celebrities. And we ended up building this platform. Ultimately, the platform was doing hundreds of thousands of users, but it never took off to where it needed to be for a social networking app. But this is the big mistake I made. I was like the head of user experience design, like product. And I lost sleep over every little detail when I was building Vouch. And I had a team, and my brother was the CEO, and we had some other partners. And I was building Vouch, and I was thinking every little detail of it. And I would lose sleep, literally, over what happens when you swipe the button this way or that way, or what happens when this and that. And we launched it a year after we started to build the business. And when we launched, all the things that I lost sleep over and cared about, I realized the customers didn't give a shit about. All the things that I was thinking about, they're like, I don't care about that. I care about all this other stuff. And I realized at that moment, we shot ourselves in the foot. We burned through money. We didn't launch quick enough. We didn't learn quick enough. We didn't get in front of customers. So right after that, I started swag.com and I was going to take a very different approach from the get go. I said, I want to make sales without having a website. I don't want to build anything. I want to get customers from day one. So we just had a landing page. It said coming soon or under construction. I forgot exactly what the wording was. And our idea was let's just reach out to everybody on LinkedIn, knock on doors, go into a WeWork, walk up and down the hallways and talk to as many people as possible. And what worst case, we learn something. Best case, we actually make a sale. And we would start to make sales in these early days. One of our first customers, our first customer was Facebook. One of our real customers was Facebook. And we were in their office and we just made a sale. And we didn't care about making money in the early days. It was just getting logos. Like we were logo hunters because we felt like swag.com coming soon page, if we could get like 10 logos on the homepage, people would feel confident using us. So that's all we did. We knocked on doors and we just started to build up these big brand names, even without making money. It wasn't about that. It was about getting the logos and learning. And I would say the biggest learning and what actually propelled us to grow is really fast is something that I was wrong about initially. When I started Swag, I knew that the buyer was a millennial. That was the kind of insight I had. We want to go after this younger generation buyer. This buyer has budgets from Facebook. Their main motivation is not to lose money. That was like the main thing. They want quality products. They want curated. They want automated, right? We had all these kind of things. But I was initially thinking we would go after the marketing teams because it kind of makes sense, right? Like if you're a 10-person startup, you're not just buying for your 10 people, you're buying potentially for thousands of customers and thousands of leads. You have way bigger budgets, way more spending. But after talking to all these marketing teams, I realized that everyone's going after it's like literally, it was like the most obvious insight. Everybody's going after the marketing teams. And why would they even care about us? Who are we? We're a coming soon landing page, right? We're a nothing. And what I noticed is that the office manager at the company is really the gateway in because not that many people are going after the office manager, but the office manager, they buy for internal. That means the marketing team's getting access to the products and the sales team and the HR team. You're basically getting in through like the side door. And when we noticed that, and that took about 6 months to really figure out that was the right buyer, we went all in on this office manager and building them the exact right platform for them. Now, swag.com expanded. Now we have the marketing team. Now we deal with all the different departments. But initially, you have to cut through the noise and go where other people are not going. So that was the key insight. And then if you have that mentality of always trying to find the path in and the key insight, you're just going to keep building on top of each other.
So was it a wide range of products that you were bringing to the office manager?
Yeah. So it was curated, I would say, meaning like we didn't offer 1,000 mugs on our site. It was like the top 20. And what we
Yeah.
found is a lot of the other promo sites, you go onto it and you search for mugs, and there's literally over 1,000, which is, first of all, there's no way that there's 1,000 quality different types of mugs. And we know this because we tested all the different product. And a lot of the stuff we bought in like sample ordering ended up in the trash. With swag.com, 99% of the stuff didn't make the cut. That was the one thing. The second thing is people are overwhelmed with too many options, right? You get paralyzed by choice. So we wanted people to like say, here's the top 20. I'll be able to choose this, make a selection really quickly.
And then later on, you get acquired after scaling it so quickly. How were you approached and what was that whole process like?
Yeah. I would say if somebody's looking to sell their company, assume it's going to take longer than you expect. We started talking to our now parent company, Custom Ink, before COVID. This is January, February time in 2020. And we ultimately sold in November of 2021. So it was like almost a full 2 years from the first moment we started talking to them to the moment we actually signed the deal. And that was for many reasons. COVID was involved. That was in between. We talked to them before COVID. So that kind of obviously delayed things. We weren't in the mentality of selling at that point either. We were scaling really quickly. Things were going well. We're a profitable business. We didn't need to sell, but it got us to the point where we're thinking, what can we build together? That was the mentality of we have this awesome, fast growing B2B platform. If we ever did want to sell, if we ever did want to have that exit, who would we actually want to sell to? And Custom Ink just made a lot of sense because they're obviously the leader in our industry, but they also do things that are different than us. They're primarily apparel based, and we're primarily hard goods and promo and swag and notebooks and pens and mugs. So like the product assortment actually complemented each other. That was one thing. Also, the type of user complemented each other. They're more consumer driven, right? That's who their customer base is consumers. We're more of B2B. So if you could put things together, it just really makes a simple powerhouse organization where you share backend supplies, share infrastructure, share operations, and really streamline the whole experience.
And it seems like the exit didn't take away your entrepreneurship bug. So now you're launching Swagspace.
Yep.
And what is this business about?
So Swagspace, that's true. I've been thinking about Swagspace for 8 years, honestly. Even when I was starting swag.com, this is the idea. This is the big idea. This is the way bigger idea. So basically, early on, when we were selling swag door to door as traveling salesmen, before we built our first version of the e-commerce site, I'm somebody who was obsessed with my own time and my own output. And I found myself spending about 20% of my day selling, knocking on doors, talking to people, and about 80% of my day, frankly, the bullshit of fulfilling orders, like creating presentation decks, back and forth emails to get quotes, waiting on hold with suppliers to see the in-stock levels. Once you get the order in the door, collecting sales tax, remitting sales tax, buying blanks from one place and shipping it to another place, like all this different, managing all those relationships, it was very time consuming and you couldn't really scale. The industry is still that way. There's 22,000 promo distributors in our industry. They average between 500,000 and $1 million a year in sales, but they're mom and pop shops and they cannot scale because everything is very fragmented and broken and there's no systems in place. There's no ability to streamline their experience. So our feeling is we spent a lot of money through profit, keep reinvesting into the profits of our platform. And we built the best e-commerce experience with swag.com. Now we're combined with Custom Ink, the biggest buying power in the industry. And our feeling is, why can't we just take our technology and white label it and allow anybody, all these 22,000 promo distributors, to put their logo and their brand color and their unique URL and instantly have the best e-commerce experience to sell to their clients? That's the first thing. Let's say their clients don't want to check out through a site because they probably don't, right? They go to Jenny Promo because they want to talk to Jenny Promo. They don't want to be pawned off to an e-commerce site. So we build tools where Jenny could build the carts for her customer and just share the link to the cart. So all of her customer has to do is check out. Now, once they check out, Swagspace collects the full amount. We collect the sales tax. We remit the sales tax. We give Jenny a huge portion of the order and we become the de facto supplier. So no longer does Jenny need to be working with 100 suppliers, buy blanks from here, send to embroiderer, to screen printer, to notebooks here, warballs here, keep track of everything. It hits our back end and we are the de facto supplier to handle all operations, all logistics. So we could become this universal swag platform and allow everyone to streamline, take that 80% of their life back and either focus that all on selling, which would be great, or take time, family vacations, do whatever they really want. And then the idea kept thinking, if we could build this for promo distributors, who else could use a site like this to sell swag easy to their customers? So we're thinking, what does like the promo adjacent industry look like? There's 22,000 screen printers, right? Screen printers are selling apparel. Why wouldn't they also want to sell notebooks, pens, and mugs? Their customers probably want to do that as well. How about designers? There's, I think, 150,000 designers in the US alone. All these designers create logos for clients. That client takes that new brand and logo and goes to a website like a Custom Ink, like a swag.com to buy their swag. Why doesn't the designer handle the swag orders after they create the logo and make a real new revenue stream? What about party planners and event planners? There's so many different people that should sell swag that their clients want to buy swag. They just don't do it because it's so complicated. And we just made it easy. It's like the easy button. It's a free platform to use. You sign up, you upload your logo, you mock it up. In seconds, you have a site. It's like the simplest thing. You make a big chunk of the commission on all sales. We take a piece of it, and we just want to aggregate the buying power for the whole industry.
What do you think the market size is on this one? Like, where do you think you'll get it in 5, 6 years?
I don't know exactly. You never know. We're 20 days new to this, so we're still learning. But I'll put it this way. There's 22,000 promo distributors. The average promo distributor is 500,000. If we just got 1,000 of the 22,000, forget all the adjacencies, the designers, the screen printers, that's $500 million in revenue a year. That's 1,000. If you get designers, there's no reason why designers wouldn't want to make another revenue stream. There's no reason why party planners, you have an event, you're making money different ways. That person's going to buy swag for their event, for their bar and bat mitzvah, for their wedding. They're going somewhere else. Why doesn't the event planner do it for them and make it easier for everybody and take a big portion of it? So anybody, by the way, it could be like a work at home mom who has a couple of contacts at a charity and they know the charity buys for their events, sell a couple of $1,000s and make an extra $5,000, $10,000 of income. Like it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be even in the industry. We had one of my friends who was figuring out what he wants to do. And he's like, hey, Jeremy, this sounds really cool. Do you mind if I test this out? It was 2 months ago when we were in the beta phase. He sold over $70,000 in 2 months. He just went to local charities, went to schools. Anybody, any of your audience who are young entrepreneurs who want to start something, this is a business in the box. It creates the entire best experience. We are the front end tech. We are also the back end supply. All you have to do is learn how to sell. That's really it.
I'll have to have you on again once you exit that business.
I'm part of Custom Ink, so I don't know if there's going to be an exit, but I have equity in Custom Ink. I want Custom Ink to grow and be bigger. They're a private company still. We'll see how it goes, but I think it's going to be a great thing for the industry. That's the main thing. I think it's going to help a lot of people. I think there's a lot of people who are honestly getting older in age. They're probably looking to retire. They're not able to keep up with the current buyer. The buyer's a younger buyer. They want boxes and kitting and warehousing and individual distribution. And it's very complicated to do all these things. You have to have a 3PL. You have to have warehousing. A lot of these mom and pops don't have that infrastructure. They press a button on our site, now they do. So they can offer all these tools that they dreamed of having. Their clients are all remote now. They're all disconnected. Allowing their customers to buy swag in bulk and individually distribute to remote employees to keep that company culture thriving, even though no one's in the office, is what's needed today. And all these promo distributors can't offer that because they don't have the technology or the resources or the 3PL access or all these different things. Now they do because they're using our tech and they're using our infrastructure.
So if one of our listeners wanted to learn more or get in touch, how could they do so?
Check us out at swag.space. That's the URL, swag.space. Reach out to us. You can reach out to me personally, jeremy@swag.com. I still have my swag.com email. It's the same company. And please reach out to me. I'm always excited to talk to fellow entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Jeremy, for coming on the show and everybody for listening to another episode of FTS. If you like the show, make sure to give us a 5-star review. I'm your host, Chad Kalecki, and we'll see you next time.